Welcome everyone, episode 4 of the Founders Club podcast. Today's going to be a special one. I am hosting once again, and today we have Taylor. Taylor, how are we doing?
I'm very, very good. A bit chilly, but all good.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the camera? Just tell everyone who you are, where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm Taylor. I am 25 years old, nearly 26 years old, 27 in January. I work a very interesting role and do e-com on the side. I love a challenge. I love working hard. Obviously, you can see the eye bags. It's been tough. And I think this is the year where the old Taylor is going to come alive. And I think if I didn't meet Omar, just to say this, I'd be in a job for probably about 20 years. So Omar's been literally a very authentic gentleman in my journey of rebuilding Taylor from the start.
That was a powerful introduction. You
Well,
should have started.
It's been a very challenging couple of years, so I have to start with some oomph.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming down, mate. And the thing is, I think like e-com as a whole is challenging, isn't it? You know, it's not exactly what people make it out to be online, right? The screenshots and you can make $1 million overnight.
No.
Right? I mean, what's been your experience before you started working with me? Like, give everyone sort of like a little bit of a background on yourself and when you first come into the space.
So I started e-com around, I would say, a good 8 years ago.
Wow.
So obviously we have these fads of like sixth form journeys and selling watches and selling certain things where it was just a bit of a gimmick, you know?
Yeah. Name something that you sold that was a bit of a gimmick.
You know, starting a stone business, for example, painting stones, going to garden centres, having some fun.
Yeah.
Getting that skill base ready for, I don't know really what, of selling signs, but it was just, it's always been in me to be entrepreneurial. Then I obviously got some more cash, had some better jobs, made some really good friendships in these jobs, and then I went into headwear. So, but obviously then I was still quite naive, as you could call it.
Well, so what was you selling, like hats?
Hats with just a name on.
Okay.
So, and
Was
I
it like
thought,
custom hats or?
no, literally a bog standard hat,
Yeah.
3 colours, black, white and grey.
Yeah.
And I thought, people will buy that? Oh yeah, 100% people buy that. Oh yeah, people will definitely buy this. No, I think I spent £4,000 on stock.
Oh, really?
Yep, when I was like 18.
Wow.
And that was a lot of cash. Still was a lot of cash.
Yeah.
And they're actually still in my cupboard today.
I
So
should have brought some.
I think I sold about 10 of them. Most of them came back. But obviously through that whole journey, you learn about, quality, the whole dropship thing. And so, yeah, that was the headwear. And now we're into more of a serious sort of thing with partners with Yankee Candle, some really nice home fragrance brands. And that's where some money was coming in. And now I want to grow with yourself. So, yeah, that's where I am now.
Do you know, I love the tenacity that you've got. You know, you remind me like very much of myself. I've tried so many different businesses that have failed and just like not got where I wanted them to go. But, very much like yourself, I always just knew running a business is what I was meant to do, right? And it wasn't even really to do with the money. Yeah, making money is great, but it's more lifestyle. No, I don't do things for the money. I do things for the lifestyle. Having financial freedom is no good if you don't have the time freedom. It's no good if you don't have the location freedom, being able to go where you want and do what you want whenever you want. I think freedom is the main goal. But what I love about you is like you just try anyway, And I was very surprised at the established brand that you actually have, all being, you wasn't making that much money. Obviously you are now, which we're going to get into a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
But you've done very well to build it where you built it to. Like the branding is on point. You've got all of these contracts with all of these very big brands to be a reseller of their stocks, which is amazing, mate. I mean, tell me a little bit more about like Taylor, like growing up, like where did that entrepreneurial spirit come from?
So I would say my dad's extremely very, business-like, and my mum's very like get up and go. and I think I've just had it from them.
Mm.
My granddad, his dad, my dad's dad, so they've all had our own sort of thing.
Mhm.
But in terms of like that, that really powerful drive of I want to make something big,
Yeah.
it's just been in me, from sixth form, from college.
Mm.
Um, and I think because of, there's been so many fails,
Yeah.
you actually get used to the fails, really, really sad thing, but
Mm.
you get used to them.
Mm.
Uh, I think over the past 6 weeks, when you start seeing money coming in and customers loving the products,
Yeah.
you actually go, no, I don't think this is actually right. But because there's been so many fails.
Yeah.
So I would say that drive, determination, that just keep going mindset,
Mm.
has come from my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's very similar to me, and I think, I really resonate with what you said about getting used to the fouls, because even for me, like, when I have failed so many times, you start to actually get this really bad energy around yourself
Yeah.
and this bad negative self-talk that a lot of people do, and you actually end up becoming, the reason why you're actually not progressing and a reason why you're not succeeding. And it almost becomes unreal when you do start seeing results,
Yeah.
and you almost actually get in your own way. And because you've had such a negative experience, the self-belief and the self-belief goes down and the self-doubt starts
Mm,
creeping in. And I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with other individuals as well. And I think it's really important, like, to have the right people around you to
100%.
actually say, no, look, you're doing well, you're in the right position, because it only takes one person to believe in you.
It's true.
And that person can be you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, really resonated with you about, like, your parents and your granddad and stuff like that as well. I mean, like, how important, like, was your family to you with, like, where you are now with, like, your entrepreneurial drive that you've got?
I'd say my mum has been like my rock. Sounds a little bit silly, but it's true. Like every down moment, she's always been there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think she's always said to me during some really tough times, Taylor, you can only go up. And I've gone, do you know what, mum, you're spot on. I can't go down because I'm already at the trench. So, and you know what, she's so right. I think through the years of loans, credit cards, and I look at it now and I go, okay, it's still there, sort of thing,
Mhm.
but I'm on a path. And if I didn't go through all that took, as I call it, I'd never be here.
Mm.
So I'd say, yeah, my mum's been my rock,
Mm.
um, and myself. Of just keep going, listen to music all the time,
Yeah.
um, and just keep going. That's my whole thing of something must work.
Yeah.
Something, will eventually work of how hard I work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say my mum, she's been my complete rock.
No, I love that, mate, because it's like mine was my nan, and
Yeah.
even saying that, my mum probably wouldn't like that. But I've always had this, like, special connection with my nan. Um, Essex boy, nanny's boy,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to call it. But, like, my nan, no matter what I'd done, my nan would always make an excuse as to why I'd done that, and I was a good boy.
Yeah.
But she always believed in me, and I think it's really important when you're growing up to have someone that does give you that drive. I mean, now, like, it's my partner, and not everything goes right.
Mm,
You know, the truth of the matter is, like, what you can attest to is we have more failures than wins. It's just the wins outweigh the failures,
it's true.
and that's what keeps you going. I think that's the biggest thing which stops people from actually getting any sort of traction is they don't understand that. They see failure as failing when, well, no, they see failure as failed, but it's
Mm,
not if you learn from it.
exactly.
And then you can use that to keep keep moving forward. And I think it's really, you've been really lucky to have your mum be there for you, especially, like, with the way that we build businesses. A lot of people can't understand that,
Yeah,
and I think it's just such a great opportunity that we have in this day and age to be able to just build a website,
it's true.
and be able to sell something online from just an internet connection and a
Yeah,
laptop.
yeah.
I mean, what was that feeling like for you when you got your first sale? What did that feel like?
I would say, um, when I began all those years ago, I was thinking, oh my God, like somebody's gone on the site and purchased a hat or a stone, one of them. Um, and it's like, oh my God, someone's actually trust me. Someone's believed in me. They love the brand, the products. But now, where there's orders every single day with
Mm.
yourself, I've gone, this is what it's, supposed to be like.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be one every month or
Yeah. Yeah.
every week. It's so genuine and so it should be there sort of thing,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know? But yeah, that feeling of, I think, waiting for years of those orders need to be coming in,
Yeah.
is such a nice feeling.
Yeah. I mean, like, you just touched on it anyway. Like, we can go a little bit into that. What? Obviously, look, you've got a business now, and it's doing well, and it's growing, and it's going in the right direction. But it wasn't always like that.
No.
What was it like before we met each other, and we started, working together?
It was pretty tough. Um, you know, bank loans, credit cards, all maxed out, all my wages every single month gone, left with maybe like 50 quid. So I was
Mm.
literally transferring every single month just to keep the goddamn thing afloat. Um, and that has been literally for about 3 years of just keeping it afloat. And obviously there's been stock problems, but now that obviously I know about the whole drop ship thing, where you actually haven't got to buy the stock up front, cash flow is better,
Mhm.
and things have become so much more easier where I can actually focus on the things that move, you know?
Yeah.
So the marketing, the ads, understanding that customer A to Z. So, previously, it was just all of a mess. Not really of a mess, but none of it was slick.
Yeah.
The stock problems were there, the credit cards were there, the massive loans. Um, yeah.
What I like, it's actually, it's such a testament to, like, this space and, like, what you've actually done, to be able to get out of that. I mean, mate, that must have just been, like, such a horrible feeling. Like, what was
Mm.
it like to be doing that for, like, 3 years, really wanting to do something? Like, how did you, for someone that's watching, that's, perhaps not where they wanna be, and they're working and they're failing, like, how was you able to continue doing that for 3 years with the belief that you could still make that work?
Yeah, so many people during that process were saying to me literally, like, face to face, "Taylor, you can have to just cut it off, mate." And I've gone, "Well, this is the dream. I know it can work. I don't care what anyone says. It will work. I don't care how or when, but it will work. As long as I keep pumping that goddamn money, it will carry on." So I would say you just have to keep going. You have to believe in it. You have to literally get a whiteboard, print out, that whole journey and go, right, I'm going to get there in 3 years or 2 years. And you have to just keep going. And I think in the past 1 year, you have to, I think, celebrate those very, very, very small wins,
Mm.
regardless. That is what kept me going. And I think there's never been a plan B ever.
Yeah.
It's literally a job, which is fine for some people, but for Taylor, it's not. So
Mm.
I needed that needed to work.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near where I want it to be, but it's on the right path. But it's self-belief. I know it can work. And yeah, it's been a very tough journey, I must say, but the sky is the limit. Um, yeah.
No, that really resonates with me because we're the same when it comes to that aspect. Like, I have more belief in myself than anyone, and I've always known that I will get to that stage no matter what. I remember, tell you a little bit of a story. When I was younger, I done 4 to 5 years in studying, learning, becoming a qualified quantity surveyor. I was very good at the job. I was basically directing individuals that were double my age,
Mm.
at a very young age, and I was taking home a very good salary at that time, and I had all of the perks. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted more for my life, and I wanted to leave this world in a better place and make a little bit of a difference. It
Exactly.
wasn't about having all of the flash cars. I wanted more, and that's
Mm.
okay to want more. No, we only get to live once,
It's true.
and you should go for it. And I remember at the time, everyone was saying to me, "Do not do this. Do not do this." Even people closest to me. but I knew that I could make it happen. And for years I struggled
Yeah,
in all these different businesses, but I made it work because I wasn't going to give up anyway.
yeah.
I was going to fucking make it happen, whether you believed in me or not. And even to this day, people still don't believe that I'm going to do certain things. And guess what? I prove them wrong every single time. And I'm always going to do it because I always fucking win.
Yeah.
And I always have that mentality. And yes, I lose a lot, but I win more than I lose.
Exactly.
So it's about just like continue moving forward and having that mindset. And it's really important to have that mindset. And though that is the difference between, you know, people like yourself that I coach and that I work with that actually move the needle
Yeah.
because they just do it. You know, they just take action. They don't question, they listen, they take direction, and they just do it.
Mm.
It's how I've always been, and it's how winners are made. You know, execution over everything.
It's true.
Because for so long I would just overanalyze things.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to know how to find the best products. I need to know how to do this the best. I need to know how to do the marketing the best. By the time you learn all of that stuff, the market's already moved tenfold anyway,
Yeah.
and you're behind everyone. You know, I've always been a doer, and you learn more from experience than you do from studying.
It's true.
It's like your business school teacher. I never used to listen to him. Someone will try to teach you in school about business and never run a fucking business. But yet try to teach you how to run a business in business studies.
I know.
No, you should never learn from someone that is not where you want to be. And I've made that mistake too many times in my life. If someone doesn't have what you want, don't listen to them.
Mm.
And that's not to say you got to be rude, but don't take advice from them in a place that you want to be if they're not where you want to be. Does
Yeah.
that make any
That
sense?
makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk a little bit like about, you know, statistics. I mean, you don't have to share exact numbers, but I mean, you know, you said something like really nice that Dan says a minute ago, something along the lines of, you know, you've made more in this last 6 weeks that we've been working together in the past 3 years or something, didn't you say?
100%. You know, being all transparent and everything. Since joining yourself and the guidance, I know the number's quite small, but making nearly £10,000 in 9 weeks or something,
Mm.
then 24 months. That's shocking,
Yeah.
you know, because the guidance is there, and that A to Z is there.
Mm.
It's not like, you know, the M is covered or the B is covered.
Yeah.
A to Z. But yeah, literally, it's been I think £9,800 in 9 weeks compared to maybe 1,500 in 2024 and maybe £2,000 in 2025,
Wow.
excluding probably about £30,000 a year to keep the goddamn thing afloat. So
Wow, nice.
when you
It's
look
really
at that
good.
sheet, you know, nearly £100,000 in maybe 4 years has gone into it.
Mm.
So you really have to have that thick skin to go, right, Taylor, I believe in this,
Mm.
regardless, you know, this can turn around within 1 month, you know?
Yeah, you can.
And that's my whole thing of, I'm young, I can make these mistakes. Obviously my job's tough. I don't particularly enjoy it, so that can be really quite draining,
Mm.
but I just have to keep going. But yeah, £10,000 in 9 weeks compared to 2 years of work of like maybe 3 grand.
No, that's well done. It's, you know, you put in the work, mate, you know, and you're a driven individual, and that's why you're seeing the results. What would you say like has changed? Like, what is the difference between, you know, before and like now? You know, what did you implement that's changed the trajectory of your business?
I would say learning ads and marketing the right way. So, you know, there's one thing having a product, but if you can't sell the goddamn thing,
Mm.
that's it. You know, I think 2 things, product and ads. That's been my week full. I used to work for a company that sold some really good skincare and everything. And I thought, oh, that's good fun. Let's try and take some inspiration from that to go, right, Taylor, go and do this homework. You know, that's that product. And here are the ads sort of thing. And learn, you know,
Yeah.
learn. And that's been my 2 things, is the product and the ads that have been really that key movement.
Yeah. It's just about systemizing things, and
Yep.
you know, success leaves clues. You
Yep.
know, not everyone will get the same result in the same amount of time, but the result is there if you follow the same steps in a consecutive order for a consistent amount of time. And it's just a given. And, you tested a couple of products before, didn't you?
Yeah.
When we first started working together, I think like two or three that didn't actually take off. And now you've got one that's
flopped. Yeah.
that's doing extremely well.
Yeah.
And, it goes to show, also you've positioned it very well, haven't you? So it's not even the fact it's the product. I mean, do you want to tell like the audience a little bit? You don't have to tell them the exact product, but tell them a little bit about like, it's not even the fact that the product they're buying, it's the way that you've positioned the product and the angle.
Yeah, so that's one of the main things that you've taught me, you can sell any product, but it's the angle. You could sell a pen, but it's the angle of the way you actually sell it.
Yeah.
Who needs it? That customer audience, that A to Z again. And that's what you teach. You really dial in and go, okay, well, Jane Blogg's down the road, go and buy that, but why? Tell me why. And that's what I really like about you. You're so direct. And that's what I like. There's no in between fluff. So it's literally the way you've taught me to go, right, that's the product, great. Other people are selling it, but why? Go find out why. Go find out what angles. What tone of voice, what static or videos. And I think that's the way marketing is really, really clever, and the way you taught me correctly, rather than saying, yep, go and put an ad live, give it a month, because that's what happened previously. Hope and pray for the best, and wait for no sales. So
that does seem to be the go-to approach with the gurus nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go let it live, let it run it, get some sales.
Yeah, just wait, lay low, go and do some more research, or go and buy some ads.
Else you're burning loads of money.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest mistake, and you are right. The ads are so important because anytime you're running an ad strategy, you should know the feedback. And most people, they don't even understand the data. Every single time you set up an ad strategy, you should know the data. If it does this, I do this. If it doesn't have this, then I turn this off. Knowing when to turn things off. And the sad truth is, most people don't know how to run ads properly. They don't. They don't know how to run ads properly. They don't know how to make ads. They don't know how to optimize. They don't know how to turn things off. And having a framework, which we have created and tested through a large amount of money, is to set you a system if by day one it doesn't do this, you do this. If day three it does this, you do this. So you have control. Because it's not even teaching you how to run ads, it's teaching you how to read the data. That's the most important thing. And that's why you touched on it about like educating you on competitors' research.
Yeah.
And doing competitors' analysis is a big chunk of what people miss from product research, because all they do is they just focus on looking at the trend, looking at the product, can you sell it? And then that's it. But they're missing out who is selling it, who they selling it to, are they running any paid traffic on it, where are they running paid traffic, who are they not selling to, how many ads are they running? Oh, and that just bolts together. And that's why we do so well, because
yeah, it's true.
We've essentially, created a comprehensive system, where you can actually go and repeatedly find winning products, because it's not just about, finding, a fluke here and there, and you can get lucky, of course you can, but it's being able to repeat the process, which is going to enable you to scale. I mean, what would you say, you've come from like a very bad place in e-com.
Yeah.
And,
what, say that.
Like I'm interested, Taylor, out of everyone in the industry, and there's a lot of people online, like, why did you, after all of that time and losing all of that amount of money, why did you choose me to mentor you?
So I first saw you on Instagram and obviously followed you and saw your whole lifestyle, the way you're so passionate about e-com. And it's that trust factor. That was the first thing, trust. Are you genuine? Let's go through your Instagram. Not obviously in a weird way, but literally going through it in a way of, let's see who Omar is. So I done that. And then I think I contacted you about something, and then you went, oh, how's things? And we got chatting. And then that was it for a couple of months. And then I said to myself, and you know what? I've got nothing to lose. Omar seems, his whole status, his whole profile, and it's not just about, fancy cars, watches, that sort of thing. You actually showed more of a side of compassionate as well, you know,
Mm.
what you do outside of e-com. And so many people just don't show that. All they show is Shopify dashboards,
Mm.
cars, loads of money. And I thought it was that genuine part of a person that I grabbed, you know?
Yeah.
So those were the two things, to trust and how genuine, you know, you was. Even I remember you doing some voice notes as well.
Yeah.
People just don't do that.
Yeah.
They just text or do a bot or some AI.
Mm.
And then we got talking. And then obviously I asked so many questions. I think it's that trust thing, you know? And you
Yeah.
had so much patience, even regardless of whatever was going to happen, you know, if I was going to join or what. And then we got talking. And then I said to myself, after 5 years of being in a tough place with ecom and some previous people,
Mm.
Omar seemed like the good guy. And you was providing so much free stuff as well over Instagram, and
Yeah.
Taylor, turn that off. And I didn't even know you, you know? So you were really a very genuine person that I have felt, even through Instagram, which
Yeah.
I think is really tough now. People hide themselves behind Instagram, and you don't. I think you're a very, very genuine, kind gentleman.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You should tell my partner that.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, it's nice. I never actually asked you that question because, you know, the space is quite saturated with people that are, you know, it's quite sad, you know, like not giving the results that they're meant to give, and, you know, just genuinely not helping people and just focusing on another number and being another bottom line. And
Yeah.
I think that's why, like, when I done this, I set it up in a way where I was able to give that value. And there has been a period of times where we've actually stopped bringing people in because the fulfillment weren't there. And I just can't do something and it not be good and me have my name attached to it, because for me, I am very old school. Like, my family, then the Tinsley name goes back thousands of years before the Magna Carta. Before the Magna Carta, you've got a family coat of arms. And, you know, my granddad always said, you know, he taught me at a very young age, he was like, your name carries weight. And like, if I say I'm going to do something, my word matters more to me. And I think the world needs a little bit more of that. So for me, you know, I can't do something and it not be good and me not have my name attached to it. And yeah, that might be an ego thing sometimes, but I feel like it serves me right at the right time. And, you know, everything can be used to good if it's controlled. You know, I think ego can sometimes be perceived as toxic, but I think it depends how you use it.
100%.
I mean, like, after all of that, you know, and then finally making that decision to go with me, how did it feel after the first couple of calls we had?
Yeah, so I felt a massive, it's like I've had this tank on my shoulders, you know, for a very, very long time. I think after our first call, I even said to you on that call, Omar, this is like outstanding. You know, you're telling me how rubbish my ads are, which is really, really good, but you're telling me in the most simplest, kindest way, but so direct. You know, even that first 5 minutes on that call, you were so, I could just feel so comfortable, you know? You were so genuine. And yeah, just so, yeah, that weight off my shoulders, you know?
Yeah.
That there is hope in
Yeah.
this. But yeah, so a very, very genuine person.
No, I appreciate that. Do you know what? I just, like, I think for me, I've been in your position before, and it's easier for me to teach people because I remember what it's like. I remember what it's like to not be successful. I remember what it's like to not have money. I remember what it's like to be in debt and every single month get paid and then have nothing left and then worry and stress and have anxiety and then resort to doing things to change the way that I feel because, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life and I'm lost and I feel like I've got a purpose, but I don't know what to do. And only I know really how I feel and what I want. I genuinely know what it's like to be in that position. I also know what it's like to pay money and to not receive that service. So I teach from a place of experience. And I think that's why perhaps it comes across so genuine.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
And I understand what it's like. And I'm now on the other side and I'm like, look, come over here because you can get here. I've been where you are, which is much easier for me to teach. because I'm just teaching from experience. And I think
Yeah,
that's why,
true.
and you know as well as I do, I only teach things that I have done. I will never say to someone, go do something if I have not done it.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, look, you could try that, but I've not done it. This is the way that I do it. I do this, this, and this, and this. Because and I think that way of authenticity is the way most most business owners should operate, and that's what will create success. Yes, throughout my life, I've been too upfront and I've been, say, too authentic, and it's not helped me. But
Yeah.
in the long run, I have won, and those people are nowhere to be seen because realness will always win.
Oh,
Um,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what would if you had to describe the Founders Club to anyone that's listening, and what it's like to actually get coached in our community, what's it like?
I'd say I would say you're in very, very safe hands, you know? You are there every day through WhatsApp, through the calls. I mean, the calls are just superb. The Saturday calls are so, so good. The one-to-one calls are brilliant. They're structured. So you have that trust, genuine. There is nothing to worry about at all. Any question is good. Like you answer every single question. And yeah, I think if I didn't meet yourself, I think probably the end of this year, I'd have to say to um, the whole of my business sort of thing, we need to slim it down extremely quick because I needed somebody by my side. I think
Mm.
that was the whole path. I needed that somebody by my side to really, and even you said it, I think on my first call, Taylor, your confidence has gone, mate. Like you need to get it back.
Mm.
I think because of all those failures and really tough times, um, you're more than just somebody to help you with drop shipping or a product thing. You're you're technically a person who can help in every single avenue. That's the way I've grasped, this mindset, absolutely everything. And I know that this is just the start. And I know it's been
Of
like
course
three
it is.
months, um, but I know that you're you're actually helping me find out more about myself. I think that's what I've actually been realizing over the past couple of weeks is what can Taylor do more of? Let's really change my mindset even more.
Mm.
And it's having that somebody like yourself on my journey.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, extremely. Do not worry. Ask any questions.
Mm.
Omar is a very big open book.
Cool, you're hyping me up
Uh,
massively. Yeah,
oh, but
I bet
sure,
reform.
it's true. Like um, yeah, I think you're a really genuine guy.
No, I appreciate that, mate. And the thing is, like, you're giving me too much of the credit because you're the one who's done all of the work. I've just shown you a way. But, you know, it's lovely to see that it's rubbing off on you
Mm,
because for me, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I just try with everything to give my best
yeah.
because there's no point doing something if you're not going to be good at it.
Mm,
So you might as well try to be your best at it, to be good at it, or don't even do it at all. And that's the way that I've always been with everything. So that's why when I show up to every single call, I'll give everything. Even if I'm ill, I'll show up and,
oh,
and I'll give
good.
everything because that's the way that it should be. And you owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself for you and everyone around you. And that's how I am. And I can't change that. That's who I am. And the world needs more people like that.
100%.
I mean, look, where are you looking to take this, Taylor? I mean, 9 weeks, 10 grand, 4 years you've been trying to do ecom. You've now really started hitting some success. Like if you were watching this back, in a year's time, like where would you like to be?
So 12 months from now,
Yeah.
um, 6 figures a month, 100%, and I think apart from, that success in terms of cash and I want to get me back, you know,
Mm,
I want to get the Taylor back that is really top notch,
mm,
get my dream car, get my dream, everything, I really want to find that Taylor again. And I know that coming out of a very tough job and those tough people,
Yeah.
it really does bring you down. So I think in the next 12 months to really focus on me and be selfish, you know, apart from the cash and the success with all that sort of thing, to really find me again, and just grow.
Yeah.
That is the goal, to really find my roots again. Yeah.
And how do you, because like most people, when they do e-com,
Mm.
I would say probably like 80% of the people that I coach, they have a 9 to 5 job. How do you show up, 9 to 5 and do that job and then come home? Because a lot of people, they struggle with, being able to do this alongside like working full time. Like,
Mm.
what advice would you give them?
I would say, it can be tough, but you have to have a structure, you know? You have to do your 9 to 5, and you have to remember that it's funding something. It's funding your, your dream. You have to come away from this. You're going to be in it forever, because you're not.
Yeah.
It's just temporary. And I taught myself through many, many years of tough jobs, and who's going to pay the credit cards and the bank loans? So you have to have a structure, and you really have to believe in yourself. You seriously have to sit in your bedroom like I have and go, Taylor, tomorrow's another day. We will get through this.
Mm.
And that's the way I've been. Regardless of having a very low bank account at times, and, um, you know, just low everything, credit cards mounting up and interest. And you think, oh, you know what? It can't actually get any worse. This is quite not fun, but
Yeah.
you just have to get through it. And I think it really makes that person, it really makes that hardness in you to go, been there, done that, got that t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're in a 9 to 5, um, plan like, the next 6 to 12 months,
Mm.
allocate that money towards something, learn that skill. And I'm sure you will not be in it as a 4-year journey that I've been in it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had that person next to me that's guided me correctly, and that guidance, which has been so important.
Yeah.
I've been in it on my own, and, spending thousands on stock when I was 18, and I've never been clubbing. I don't drink I don't drink any alcohol. That definitely shows up my social life, you know? So I would say you just have to plan. You have to be very, very strong
Mm. You just
mindset-wise.
got so much self-belief, and it's, if you can see it and you can think a bit and you can dream it,
Yeah.
then you can touch it and you can have it.
Mm,
Those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right.
mm.
And it all starts with being delusional. And,
Yeah, it's
by the sound of it, like we're the same person, and you have to have that delusion, because
yeah.
at times everything's going to be looking like it's going sideways. But you got to have that delusion to stay in that fight and to keep
You
pushing
do.
forward, which you have done, mate,
Mm.
and it's really good. I mean, you talk about like, how you strive and your mindset. But what are you doing it all for? Like, what is your reason why? Like, because for me, like my why is what gets me up in the morning.
Mm.
And it's only been recently since I've started to see a lot of financial success and people around me get very financially successful, that the reason why I am where I am is because of the strength that I have internally to get up every single day and to do it no matter what, no matter how repetitive it may be. Because I've got 2 young boys that are relying on me to show up, because they never asked to be here and they deserve the best out of life, and I'm going to fucking give it to them. So for me, that was the change in me. Like, that is my why, and it's anchored, because like any single time, and I thought before the money for me was going to be the why.
Yeah.
I want to have a Ferrari, I want to have nice things, but it weren't big enough. And I truly believe, personally, it's my own personal opinion, that if it's just about the money, you won't get there.
Mm.
Um, so for you, like, why do you do it? Like, what's your why?
I would say I want to I want to have that purpose of not just, as you said, having the nice things, the cars, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just, you know, people laugh, and, certain people that I know laugh, and they go, Taylor, as what you just said, why, once you make it, "Aren't you gonna be bored?" And I'm gonna go, "Well, I'm afraid not. Um, I'm afraid not." And then I go, "Do you know what? Again, this might sound a bit cliche, but, I do wanna give back, you know? I
Yeah.
do want to say to myself, 'Do you know what? Um, that person is struggling, and
Mm,
I can unlock that for them,' you
mm,
know? In a really nice way. I can really help people. And apart from all of that, I'd say I owe it to my mum, you know?
mm,
That's been my very, important purpose. I think aside from money, Porsches,
mm.
you know, Breitlings, fantastic watches, but I would say my mum, she's been completely there at the start.
Yeah,
And I'd say I owe it to her because she's been through so much. And I
yeah,
think, and you know what? I have to do it, for her.
yeah,
I know she'll say, "Taylor, no, please, not, not for me,
yeah,
for yourself." But that's why I get up every single day, go to my 9 to 5, hello, goodbye,
yeah,
be really, really nice, and come home and go in my room and work.
yeah,
So I would say my purpose is my rock, is my mum. Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds a little bit silly,
No,
but
it's not. Honestly, it's not.
um, she's been there from the start.
Yeah.
So
We're a lot similar than than what you may think, It's for a very long period of time, I always had such urgency, because my nan and granddad are very close to me. I live with them for like 13 years of my life, and I'm not stupid to think, they're getting old and, they probably are going to be the first to go. And my nan has always believed in me. She grew 5 beautiful women out of my aunties, tough back then, five girls. My granddad was out working all the time and, they finally got rid of them all, right? And then in comes Omar, young 17-year-old, resentment against the world, lots of problems. My dad was never around. And my nan has got me out of some situations, and that's what drives me as well, just to make my family proud. And, like what you said, they'll say, "Oh no, I'm proud of you now,"
exactly.
but I think a lot of this comes from we need that self, we need to feel proud that we've made them proud in
Mm,
ourselves. Because too many people chase happiness. I never chase happiness. And there's a fine line between having pride and being egotistical. For me, I always try to aim to be proud of myself, because if I'm proud of myself, then I'll be happy. If you go around trying to be happy all the time, I mean, that's weird. If you're walking around laughing, smiling all the time, you've got something wrong with you.
100%. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you don't have bad days, then you won't know what the good days are.
Mm,
And I think it makes you appreciate it more. But I really love that about you, that you got a bigger meaning as to why you do them things. And
mm.
I'm the exact same way. How do you think your mum's going to feel when you get to doing 100K months? What's that feeling going to feel like?
I think she'll cry. I really do. I think she'll be so genuinely happy. I think, she knows everything. She knows the struggle. She knows the late nights. She knows, all the money, all my wages, sitting in, 9 to 5s. She knows that I put so much into it.
Mm,
And she's such a genuine person, you know?
mm,
Um, but yeah, she'll be over the moon. She'll
yeah.
be over the moon. And she loves a Porsche. So that's literally the first thing, I will literally go, right, mum, um, let's go down to Porsche and buy you a lovely car. Um, and really, apart from all the money thing, just make her proud,
Mm,
and build something bigger than what I've got,
mm,
you know. Um, yeah, and previous to, all the money for the stock and everything, which I did last year and the year before,
yeah.
I took out more bank loans for software that I know is gonna be, even bigger than I think.
Mm,
So I'm already planning, bigger stuff in the pipeline. But again, I shouldn't have done that because of interest and bank loans and sort of thing. So I'd say, yeah, she'll be over the moon with,
with a Porsche 911.
yes, 911, good choice, Omar.
Yeah. I
Uh,
do know my
there
cars.
you go.
Do you know what though? It's like there is no better feeling than giving to someone.
Mm,
And I think you quickly realize that. Like, I remember, I'll tell you a bit of a story when I bought my first supercar.
mm.
And I remember rocking up to the place and, that they'd actually parked it next to like a Bugatti Chiron. And I was like, hang on, like,
Oh,
why are you
nice.
parking my car next to that? It makes
Yeah.
me feel not that great now. But anyway, I remember getting it and I hyped it up so much to buy this car. And I got there and I bought the car and I was driving it around. And the next day it was fantastic. And then I woke up and I just felt so unfulfilled
Wow.
because I'd hyped it up so much that I was going to get this car and I was going to feel this way. And once I got this, that was it. Once I get this, I'm going to be there. We've all done it. Once I get with that girl, everything will be great. Once I get this job and that pay rise, everything will be great. But as humans and human nature, it's always evolving, and that's why you constantly have to be checking in with yourself. But, the moral of the story is I felt so unfulfilled because I'd set my goals too low when I'd
Yeah.
done that. And at that point, I had to recheck in with myself. And then that was when I decided to start Founders Club and help other people because there's no better feeling.
Mm.
Like, I get sales and I turned the notification off on my phone because I get that many of them.
Really?
And ding, 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 it just gets annoying. But there's one way to make money, but there's only so many cars you can buy. There's only so many holidays you can go on. But seeing the light in other people's eyes when they get the result,
Yeah.
that is gold dust. Like that for me, like I'm even just getting goosebumps even just saying that. There is no better feeling than giving to somebody and seeing that for them. Like I remember the last time, well, I go to Dubai all the time, but the last time I went with my partner and she'd never shopped in Louis Vuitton. And bear in mind, when we first got together, she had all of this savings, and she was lending me money. Like she'd been with me when I had fuck all, like nothing. Absolute. I was a big talker, but I wasn't doing nothing. And I would just talk. It was all that pub talk. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And she backed me when I never had a fucking pot to piss in. That's why it's so important that you pick the right person to be with. And the feeling that I got when she said she'd never shopped in Louis Vuitton and she was in there and she bought a pair of sunglasses, no matter how much it cost, like you could not replace that feeling of seeing her take my card and she wanted to pay for it
Yeah.
and go up and buy that and her walk out. That is just fucking priceless, mate. You cannot beat that.
Yeah.
So in some cases, money does buy happiness.
Yeah, of course. 100%. Regardless of money is there, but it's a tool.
Mm,
It pays for obviously bills and stuff,
mm,
but it's that tool to give back. It's that tool to help others.
mm,
And obviously pat yourself on the back,
mm.
and go, I've done it. I've done bloody well. And it's time to do it for others,
Yeah.
but obviously help them.
Mm.
So yeah, I completely agree with that. 100%.
Yeah, and you will because you put the work in, and you've already started seeing such a a positive. I don't think people understand, like, even to be able to operate the business profitably is a win.
Yeah.
And I just think it's been diluted by a lot of people that are just setting unrealistic expectations. At the end of the day, it is a real business, and anything worth having takes time. And it takes
Yeah, of
time to
course.
build. Yeah, you do have the small amount of people that go skyrocket, make $1 million in less than 6 months. Of course, it's possible, but at the end of the day, it's a real business, and anything worth having takes time to build. Because typically everything that goes up fast comes down fast.
It's true.
And the amount of hours that you're putting in now will stand the test of time. And this is something that you can exit. Like, this is a real brand that you've got here. It's not just some random dropshipping business selling trending products. You have a real business, and you've got great traction. I mean, what would you say to, the beginner out there that's, perhaps on the fence with e-com, what would you say to them? Or in fact, let me word it better, actually. What would you say to the person that has spent money on previous mentors and really believes in themselves in doing e-com, but they don't know where to start and they don't know whether they can try it again or trust someone? What would you say to that person?
I would say you need to find Omar ASAP. No, but I think genuinely you need to seriously don't ever quit. You can't quit. Regardless of bad people before, you have to find a way through it. And even if you need some time off, have some time off, have that 4 weeks off to really find about, research or other people. But I really hope you find Omar, in that time off, to see what you're going to do next. But yeah, never give up,
Mm.
regardless of what's happened with previous people. And you never think it's going to ever work.
Yeah.
And if you've spent thousands of pounds on other people, okay, you know, unfortunately that's happened. Move on, sort of thing,
Mm.
and try again.
Yeah.
Stay at that 9 to 5. Take those small moments of, yep, I'm gonna go and drink a nice can of Coke that I do. I don't drink alcohol, so that's my nice
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, never give up. And I think what you're doing with the Founders Club, I think it's so powerful, and it's more than just helping people start a brand. It's so much more than that. It's to really inject confidence, self-belief, and the whole A to Z of clarity.
Mm.
I felt a lot more lighter over the past couple of weeks, and I think it's just a start. And other people, even younger than me, will 100%, feel that once they join the Founders Club or, whatever, watch this podcast.
Yeah.
They should 100, feel that Omar is the one, sort of thing. Yeah.
I didn't pay you to say. Oh, I know. By the way, just so everyone's clear, I didn't pay him to say that.
No, but it's true.
No, look, I appreciate it.
You have to. What you're doing is not. It's not normal. It's really something bigger than just. Come and join.
Mm.
Here's the 3 months. Some people do 1 call a month. There's 2 calls a week, and they're so detailed. You're on it, and you're on it for even like maybe 2 hours. Taylor, any questions? Oh yeah, do you know what I do actually? The value is so big. So it's so much more than just that 1-to-1. It's everything.
Yeah.
If you want a big life reset, yeah, it's powerful stuff.
No, I appreciate your kind words. And, we just put a lot of time and effort into it to understanding, like what we say with the products, just understanding what people want. Because if you understand what people want, then just give it to them.
Mm.
And if it's planned correctly and you set, I'm very autistic with certain things. Like everything needs to be specifically scheduled out in certain times. I'm a very big, I'm a very big person when it comes to like scheduling money, managing it like a business, cash flow, just every micro element of everything. And I mean, if you are proactive, then you'll win. But if you're reactive, then you will struggle. So I understood very early on in this space that communication is key.
Yeah.
And if you get in front of people's questions, then you don't have a problem. Because I already know what someone's going to ask me because I've already been there and I already know the next step. So I already know where you need to go. So it's easier for me to fulfill you instead of me having to catch up on messages and not coming back to people because I already know the next step.
Yeah.
Because I know what people need. I see the pain points. I see the struggles. Why? Because I'm physically doing it.
Yeah.
I teach ecom. I do ecom.
Mm.
I've made more than most of these people in a year than they've done in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me to get in this space and say, do this, do this, do this. Oh, it's working. Of course it's working because I'm doing it.
Mm.
And do you know what? For me, it's been it's a pleasure to work with people like yourself because unknowingly, I've actually created an amazing group of people that are all business owners, all entrepreneurs, all like-minded individuals. And it's not even a space where it's just all about me. Everyone talks to each other in our community chats. They speak to each other, they direct message each other, they share tips, they share their stores, how everyone's working. And it was never about me. I've separated Omar Tinsley, the brand Omar Tinsley, from the Founders Club because it's not all about me. It's about like everyone coming together and working on a like-minded goal. We all want to be free. We all want to do more with our life. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to host something like that from the gift that I've been given. I'm not naive to that. I think I am very gifted at this. Powers above have obviously blessed me with this knowledge, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with people like yourself and actually pass that down to you so you can actually leave a positive impact in the world. it's the ripple effect. You do one good thing, that ripples off to
100%.
you, and then that ripples off to your mum, ripples off to another person. And, we all need a little bit of help sometimes. So I think it's good to, support each other instead of bring each other down at the end of the day, whether you're getting paid or not. Even like you said, it was no skin off my back to just tell you what to do in the DMs.
Exactly.
I could have said, no, hang on, you've got to get on a call with me first and pay me.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
Because I'll give you the answer for free, and guess what? You'll come and pay me anyway.
There you go.
Information for free, implementation for a fee. The amount of times I've told someone exactly what to go and do, and they go and go do it. Taylor, it's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Can you leave us with some final thoughts?
I would say my whole life has changed in about 10 weeks, from confidence to clarity to the weight off my shoulders. And I know it's just a start. It's been such a genuine process from A to Z, and that's what I've been looking for. So all I can say, Omar, is the sky is the limit, and onwards and upwards. That's what I say. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Taylor. Well, look, thanks for coming down. Really, really appreciate the time.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you for watching my episode of the Founders Club. For more details, click the link below.